Tesla is known for sparking an electric vehicle revolution. It's also brought services to customers like mobile repairs and over-the-air tune-ups that were once reserved for only the most elite car companies.
Tesla's really been a pioneer with servicing, honestly. They have a mobile service network that can come to you and service your car wherever you'd like.
It's a huge convenience factor for consumers, and those that have been able to take advantage of it really appreciate it.
Unlike the independent dealership model used by companies like Ford, GM, and almost every other car manufacturer in the US, where dealerships and service centers are owned and operated separately from the brand itself, Tesla operates all of its own service centers.
Tesla wanted to own it, own the whole thing. So no local franchise, no dealership that would have to hire locally. All the service technicians, all the mechanics would be employees of Tesla.
But it isn't easy to completely change the model, and Tesla has struggled to keep up with service as sales have soared. Customers have complained about long wait times, a lack of loaner cars, and having to travel hours to get to the nearest service center when a mobile Ranger can't fix the problem.
I've made a lot of questionable purchases in my 39 years, and never in my life have I regretted buying something more than I regretted buying that car.
I would say people have a great Tesla experience for the most part, but there are an overwhelming number that don't have a great experience, and they're all kind of singing the same song. So that says something in itself.
Other electric vehicle startups like Lucid and Rivian are following in Tesla's footsteps with their service models. But will it be possible for Tesla and others to scale up service fast enough to keep customers happy? Almost every car company in the United States has a vast network of dealerships and service centers, but the companies themselves don't own any of them. They are owned and operated independently.
The manufacturer is not selling cars to the consumers. They're selling cars to the dealer at wholesale price, just as in any other retail business.
It can be very beneficial for the automakers. You can have service centers, you can have very close proximity to everyone, and you can have a retail network that is somewhat consistent, and you can get to the customers and they can benefit their local communities.
Comparing Tesla's network of service centers to one of the big three's network of independent service centers, it's clear who has the upper hand. Tesla has 148 service centers in the United States. Ford alone has 3,143 dealerships and service centers in the United States.
You go to any town in America and there's Ford dealer, Chevy dealer, Toyota dealer, whatever it may be. But looking for the Tesla showroom, that may be a little bit more challenging.
But just because they're common places to get traditional internal combustion engine or ICE cars fixed doesn't mean consumers like going there. Jamie Gorton remembers what it was like before owning a Tesla.
I've dealt with other dealerships for 10 years prior. Car dealerships in general, absolute terrible service and horrible experiences.
We're really seeing kind of the dark side of some of the franchise dealership model right now, with new popular vehicles that are in demand and low on supply. Some dealers are marking vehicles up tens of thousands of dollars. It just speaks waves to what Elon Musk and others have said about the franchise dealership model being broken and that they want to control their own network.
So that's what Tesla did. Instead of the independent dealership model, Tesla kept everything in-house. And EV startups like Lucid and Rivian are following the same model.
Tesla was thinking about, hey, as we perfect, the electric vehicle and move beyond just the early days of the Roadster and then the Model S, we'll learn more by seeing the cars come back for service. And there was a lot of motivation to this. It made so much sense strategically, but it's also very expensive to operate direct to consumer in that manner.
One of the things that we see with electric vehicle startups is the idea of mobile service repair. So, rather than taking the vehicle to the dealer, the manufacturer sending somebody to you to repair your vehicle. And that certainly adds an element of convenience. In fact, roughly about 1 out of every 3 Tesla owners takes advantage of that mobile service.
These over-the-air fixes and at-home service visits are a welcome advantage for Gorton, along with his husband, Knock.
The other benefit of the car being fully connected and being on like their network is that they can just remotely connect into the car and they can check everything in it and what's going on. So a lot of times they can just solve problems that way.
But mobile technicians can't do everything remotely.
If you have hit a major pothole or a curb and bent a suspension arm or some other component that needs repair, a lot of times that can't be done in your driveway.
In our case, they couldn't identify what the problem was. They verified that yes, there's these errors. So they send a mobile tech. That's like their first line of defense. So mobile tech comes out and basically says to us after tinkering with it, like, no, you need to go to, one of the service locations.
Recalls are another example. These often have to be dealt with at a brick and mortar Tesla shop, and if there isn't one near the Tesla owner, the process can be incredibly painful.
They haven't invested as much in building new service centers and scaling up the service side of their operation as they have into production. So for the number of cars on the road, including cars in and out of warranty, it seems like they really don't have enough service centers and service personnel.
It's not unusual for people, waiting for body panels to wait 3 to 6 months or more and have their vehicle sitting in a body shop waiting. And that's a real issue.
Tesla also relies on service technicians as an extension of their factories. They have to get cars ready for customers before delivery, which means replacing broken parts, touching up paint, or installing missing components. That's one reason it can be so hard to get parts or an appointment from a service center.
The service took longer than they told us it was going to take. It was initially supposed to be 2 days, and then it turned into a week and a half or 2 weeks or whatever.
For Robert Huprich, his dual-motor Model 3 Performance Edition had to be serviced multiple times. For a rattling glass roof, for tires wearing unevenly, for bad smells coming from the air conditioning. And sometimes they wouldn't have a loaner car for Robert and his wife.
They started cutting back on the number of loaners that they had, so they would never have one available when we went in. And so then they just gave my wife $450 worth of those Uber promos, but they all still expired in 7 days. So she literally had like $400 with the Uber. I think she used $20 of it, and it expired.
He had such a difficult time with Tesla's service that he ordered 2 videos from Cameo, a service that allows customers to pay for custom videos from celebrities, aimed at Elon Musk.
Hi, Elon. This is Brandi Max.
Hello, Elon Musk. And Tesla is an Elon Musk.
Robert and I and Leslie were wondering if you could fix an obvious defective tire on Robert's Tesla.
The defective tires weren't Robert's fault. Screw you, Elon or Elon. You've been lying about your name for years. Go to your spaceship to Mars.
Ultimately, the stunt didn't work. The Huprich sold their Tesla as used vehicle demand and prices soared during the pandemic.
So we ordered ours December of 2018. Actually, I think we picked it up on Christmas Eve, matter of fact. So it was kind of our Christmas present to ourselves. We just got rid of it, I want to say October of this past year. So right around Halloween. Honestly, if I could have, it would have been a year earlier.
For Tesla owners living in states like Alabama or Kansas that don't have any service centers, owning a Tesla becomes an even bigger challenge.
Anyone who is in a rural part of the country, kind of the flyover states, a lot of the times, they are going to have to be warned that they might not have a service center within their area. We kind of learned that also with electric charging infrastructure.
This is something up-and-coming EV companies need to take note of. Companies like Rivian and Lucid have already made plans for their vehicle service.
Rivian and Lucid, who are Tesla's upstart challengers here in the US, are saying that they will essentially offer the same thing that Tesla does, which is service from our own employees at service centers that we own and operate, so no dealership experience, with remote diagnostics, software that can read your car, kind of guess what's wrong, and hopefully make that whole experience more efficient. And, mobile service technicians that come to you, if need be, will pick up your car and ship it to one of our service centers.
Lucid started delivering vehicles last year, but only has 15 service centers in North America so far. It offers mobile service, same with Rivian, which also started selling its electric SUVs and trucks last year. It plans to offer over-the-air updates and mobile technicians too. For larger repairs, both Lucid and Rivian say that they will transport vehicles that need repairs to service centers for free and will offer loaner vehicles.
they're all kind of mimicking the Tesla playbook, and I'm not sure how it's going to work out.
One of the main problems with having everything in-house is the massive cost and time of expansion. Not only do Ford owners have Ford dealerships across the country, they also have access to third-party repair shops and garages. There are more than 25,000 oil change shops in the US, enough for each city, town, and village in the United States, plus some to spare.
In those instances where you do need something repaired and repaired quickly, and you may not be able to rely on that third-party repair facility like you would with another vehicle brand, that is a bit of a disadvantage for those owners.
There are Tesla certified body shops in the US, as well as third-party repair shops, but not many.
There's not many people that really know how to fix them just yet, so the adoption rate for repair has been kind of low at this point. Only because we've had so many years of repairing ICE vehicles, people know can repair ICE vehicles at the back of their hands.
Rich Benoit is famous for fixing Teslas on his YouTube channel Rich Rebuilds. He's been buying totaled cars and rebuilding them for years, and has even started his own EV garage. But getting parts for the cars has been complicated.
They are starting to have a good selection of parts now for the Tesla Model S, which is the majority of the cars we tend to take a look at, the Tesla Model S. The Tesla now has parts for those. There are a lot of third-party companies that are also making replica parts for Teslas, for example, front bumpers and other body panels. But a lot of the other parts, like high voltage components, Tesla still won't sell you, such as batteries and drive motors. And because no one has replicated those from a third-party standpoint, a lot of those we still have to get from cars that have been salvaged. So cars have been wrecked, we'll pull the batteries and motors out, and we'll help people that way too.
Getting parts from Tesla is difficult. Actually, getting parts from Tesla is difficult even for Tesla service centers.
And there's also a warranty question too. If you take your vehicle that's under warranty to someone who doesn't know what they're doing, it could violate the warranty and you could be left with a very large bill.
And these newcomers that are doing direct-to-consumer sales, Tesla, Rivian, Lucid, and any others that are following that model, they have a different challenge, right, to provide the coverage and to figure out how to work with a body shop that's not full of their own employees.
On the whole, though, EVs encounter less wear and tear than ICE engines.
In an ICE car, you have thousands of moving parts, you have valves, cylinders, pistons, you have all these things going up and down, making these tiny controlled explosions, you have fuel pumps, you have all kinds of stuff to help those cars go on the road. And with EVs, it's really just a matter of the electronics between the motor, the controller, and the battery, which is the power source. One of those things gets messed up, you kind of know where to look.
We have an initial quality study which looks at problems experienced within the first 90 days of ownership. And initial quality is a good predictor of the long-term quality of a vehicle. When you compare the quality numbers in that study for electric vehicles versus ICE or internal combustion engine powered vehicles, electric vehicles are certainly more problematic than ICE vehicles, but they are not more problematic because they are electric vehicles. They're more problematic because they tend to be more premium in their nature, and premium products generally include more technologies.
Despite the small number of Tesla or other EV shops compared to traditional automakers, Tesla owners are notoriously loyal to the brand. Tesla's Model 3 and Model Y are the highest and second highest rated cars respectively in satisfaction among new EV owners.
One of the things that we found with our studies is that once someone does make the decision to buy an electric vehicle, that satisfaction and the likelihood that someone will purchase another electric vehicle in the future is extremely high, even for first-time EV owners.
I feel like the service structure is there, so I'm hoping that they are listening to all of this and that over time they invest in it. My guess is they won't, and this will just be the norm. But at least we don't have sleazy, dealership salesmen.
None of this matters anyways, though, and here's why. Tesla knows it has poor service. They also know that poor service does not equate to more revenue or a loss in revenue, because Tesla can barely keep up with the demand as it is. I'm putting pressure on them to make them better, because I remember how I felt when I saw my first Tesla. I remember how I felt when I touched my first Tesla, drove my first Tesla, and owned one. That was a great feeling. And I want a lot of others to feel that way as well, but I don't want them to get in their own way of doing that. So the pressure that I'm applying is for them to be better.